Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about The Handyman Method by Nick Cutter and Andrew F. Sullivan. And this is from Saga Press, which is Simon & Schuster. And first of all, I dig that cover. I think it's a very nice cover. I'm just going to read the back cover copy, because that's the easiest way for me to do it. Except I don't know how to pronounce this family's name. It's Saban. When the Saban family moves into a rural, unfinished development community, cracks begin to emerge in both their new residence and their lives. As a father wrestling with his unemployment and his uncertain place in the world, Trent Saban attempts at DIY home repairs lead him down an online rabbit hole where paranormal radicalization surreptitiously takes hold as a mysterious instructor delivers dark, subliminal suggestions of how to handle any problem around the house. Meanwhile, stepping into the sole breadwinner role, his wife, Rita, tries to hold the family together as matters spiral out of control and go from bad to worse, even as their son, Milo, a boy left to his own devices, exhibits the sinister side effects of far too much screen time. The trials of home improvement, destructive insecurities, and a horror beyond imagination collide in this terrifying story that will haunt readers long after the final page is turned. Hopefully that piques your interest. It piqued mine. I was very excited to get this book. Picked it up pretty close to the time it came out. Close as I could, anyway. And jumped on it as soon as I had the chance. For the too long didn't watch folks, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. Nick Cutter, probably best known for his book, The Troop. But he also has a book called The Deep and Little Heaven and other stuff. And he's writes under another name, which is actually the first time I ever read him. It was under the other name. Andrew F. Sullivan, I'm not very familiar with, but I'm definitely going to look into some of his stuff. So, my nutshell for this is Adam Neville's The Cunning as written by Bentley Little. So, maybe it's because, or it is just The Cunning, right? The Cunning Folk? Alright, now I'm going to have to look this up. Look at me looking something up. Because I don't know. I could just, you could just look. I reviewed the book. Let's see. Okay. Watch me on my phone. Nope, it is Cunning Folk. Alright, so, there we go. Don't I feel like a fool? So Adam Neville's The Cunning Folk, Cunning Folk, written by Bentley Little. There are a lot of similarities between this book and Cunning Folk. You've got a husband and wife and young child moving into a house. The husband sort of going a little crazy with the things he's doing around the house, and the mother trying to hold things together. The child maybe getting caught in the middle. The biggest difference is there's no neighbors in this. They're very, very isolated. They can look way, way down the road at some of the construction going on in this development, but it's very, very far away. Whereas in Cunning Folk, it was the biggest thing was their next door neighbors, right? They basically share a wall, and there's a feud going on between them. But there are, so you have, a couple and their young child moving into a house. The husband / dad becoming obsessed with things around the house, and some other particular things that I don't want to mention because they'd be spoilery. And then I say as if written by Bentley Little because the Trent starts watching these DIY home repair videos that escalate, and it certainly had sort of a Bentley Little feel. You know, Bentley Little takes his the bank. It's a bank. Everybody knows a bank. Banks are innocuous. But what if it wasn't? Or the store. Everybody's been to the store. You know a store. Everybody knows a store. What if it's an evil store? What is it? The consultant. Well, not everybody necessarily knows a consultant, but you know, Bentley Little takes these simple, everyday things. I can't wait to read the DMV, uh, and turns them on their head. And that's essentially what happens with these DIY videos. You know, people go on YouTube. You're watching. I assume you're watching this on YouTube because that's where I'm putting it. People go on YouTube and they look at DIY stuff. My stepfather, we just put in a toilet yesterday, and he looked at some DIY stuff on YouTube. So this fairly innocuous thing that just gets more and more weird and more sinister, and it just had that Bentley Little feel to it. But I enjoyed the writing style. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoy the escalation of what's going on, and there's a bit of a mystery. There's a certain thing that happens. Don't remember exactly how far in the book. It's no more than a third, I think, into the book, where just something happens and it plants a little seed. Well, what's going on there? And then we really don't get much more until a little later. Then we get another little nugget. It's like, wait a minute. What does all of this mean, and how's it going to tie into all this stuff? And of course, all of that will eventually be revealed. But I like that little tease of something going on. And of course, we're wondering what is going on with Handyman Hank, is the guy in the YouTube videos. What's going on there? What's happening? What is driving Trent? And what's going on with his son Milo and the YouTube videos that he's watching? Really compelling stuff. And it gets really wild. And there are some disturbingly gross things that happen, which I enjoyed very much. But it's not extreme horror. It's... yeah, is it satire of the YouTube age? The video age? I'm not the person to say. I don't look that deeply. But, yeah, it's The Handyman Method by Nick Cutter and Andrew F. Sullivan. Hopefully I'm saying that right, because I'm reading it backwards. I'm just looking there. I really recommend this. If you're a fan of Bentley Little, I think you're going to enjoy it. If you're a fan of Cunning Folk by Adam Neville, I suppose you'd enjoy it. It's a completely different style than Adam Neville, but it certainly hits those beats. And I was concerned that because I read Cunning Folk so relatively recently, that was going to turn me off to this story because of those story beats that are similar. But this went far enough afield that I let it go. I put Cunning Folk out of my mind, except for a couple spots where it's like, wow, this is similar, quite similar. But 4 out of 5, 4.5 really. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Very much enjoyed this, and again, love that cover. Just really cool. Plus, it tells you right here, it's a story of terror. I don't know if you can read that. Yeah, check it out if you haven't heard of it or haven't picked it up. I say pick it up, read it. It's a good time. I flew through it pretty quickly. It pulled me in, just like those Handyman Hank videos pull Trent in. And there you go. I don't know. I'm horrible at ending the actual review part. Question for this video: have you ever watched DIY videos on YouTube? I have done it for a number of things. I actually did it for. I have. You know what? I'm gonna lean and reach. I'm going to try. I'm going to lean. That part I'm not trying. I'm reaching. Can I get this off the shelf? It's a little dusty. Okay, I have these things here. These Funko Pop things. They're Funko Pop cover. So you got the Boba Fett, and then you got the Star Wars cover. They're inside these things. I'm not going to lean all the way over now. I'll just set that there. So I have a number of those. And I picked one up at Walmart. And after I bought it, I discovered that one of the pieces inside was broken. And so I went on YouTube and I watched a video on how to remove the base so that I could repair what was inside. Now, it turns out I didn't need that video because the base was also broken and it just came off, which made repairing it very easy. So I glued the broken piece on, put the base back on. It's perfect. You'd never know it was broken. But I did watch a YouTube video for that. I have watched a DIY video on how to change the battery in my phone. I'm not going to be doing that because it's one of those phones that's sealed. It's water resistant. It's sealed, and even if I break that seal, you had to unsolder pieces and way too complicated. It's basically the way they put a phone together, so you have to take it somewhere if you want the battery replaced. But I did watch that, and I think there's others. Those are probably some of the most recent. But yes, I have watched DIY stuff. I'm sure there's like handyman stuff that I've looked at as well. But what about you? Do you watch DIY videos? Do you do projects around the house? And it's very easy nowadays. You just go online, find somebody who already knows what they're talking about, and they can walk you through it. Let me know about your experience with that in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. And if you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is at Ronan5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is Eric Smith5757. That's Eric with a K. ERIKSMITH5757. And if you're on Blue Sky, I'm at EL Smith. That's all I've got. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith. And until next time, read more books.